And hello and welcome everyone to another Twitch stream for Iceberg Interactive. My name is Bart and I'm the producer here, and today we're going to be looking at some tips and tricks for Oriental Empires. So for those of you who are not at all familiar with Oriental Empires, this is a turn-based strategy game set in ancient China. We advise you to have a look at some of the other content that's already out there on YouTube, on Twitch here, and on Steam. The game's out in early access at the moment, so you can grab it. In this particular stream, we are gonna assume that you all know the basics of the game, at least to some extent, and we're going to be talking over some tips and tricks. And specifically in this particular episode, we're going to talk about early game aggression and how to best make use of it. So basically rushing, if you will. If you have any questions about the game, feel free to drop them in the chat and I'll try and deal with them. And while we do that, I'm just going to start off and select a new game. So like I said, today we're going to talk about rushing strategies, and there are a couple of different approaches to that. Especially some of the herding factions are particularly good for that. Hey Beige Jensen, good to see you. And but we also have some of the farmer factions that are quite suited for that as well. What I'm going to do, I'm going to select Han because they are one of the starter factions, so everyone can use them at the beginning, and they have a quite advantageous position when it comes to rushing. So one of the most important things for rushing is to get your early economy going, but more importantly is to basically train as many troops as you can and get your authority ratings up. So I'm just going to select Shang here and start a new game. Hey Bloody Chill, good to see you as well. And if you have any comments about the quality of the stream or sound levels, etc., please drop it down here and I'll see if I can manage to do anything for you. Alright, so this is our starting position as Xiang. We're playing the Grand Campaign here, so I know pretty well where everybody's located, which will help me a lot with rushing. I think, as far as we can see on the forums currently, many people do more like a turtle approach to the game. We're not going to be doing that here. We're going to be looking to get into the action as soon as possible and catch people off guard, basically. So I'm going to send out my colonist to a new center. I'm going to send my general north already. There's somebody close there. Let's go into cities, so queue up some farms. And so I could already start recruiting some nobles. I don't really want to do that. It might be good if you're playing on a very small map where you really want to rush. I'm still going to go for settlers first. The reason I can't get both is that for nobles you need a certain recruitment limit. So I'm going to go for the settlers, and then I'm going to recruit a militia unit. And I'm going to send them north as well. So we're going to send these north. No, not there north. There's already something there apparently. We're going to send them north, and we're going to send the other settler units south. So we have a pretty nice starting position. One of the good things about Shang when it comes to rushing is they start off with a wall. So that's definitely a good thing. Another one, check the encounters. Yes, the encounters can be very advantageous to your starting position. And it could be interesting to find them out, especially if you can get some extra warriors going. At this point, it doesn't seem like we have any of those encounters right here, so I'm going to ignore them and get my heavy troops into position to strike as soon as possible, and my target will be the faction to my north. So having done that, I'm going to select my technologies, and as I mentioned before, the one thing you want to definitely have when you go for rushing is that early authority. Get your authority levels up. The reason for that is if you're rushing well, you're expected to take a lot of cities fairly quickly, and in order to deal with the unrest that may come as a result of that, you want to have technology that boosts your authority rating. So especially for thought, I'm going to go for the authority tech, and for knowledge I'm going to do that as well by researching calendar, which is 8 turns. This will take me 8 turns, so that will boost my authority quite a bit. You could also do military drill if you want to go all out. I'm not going to do that today, but that's a valid strategy as well. So having done that, I think we're good to end our first turn. Like I said, I'm not going to be bothering too much with the encounters here, unless they're really en route. And we're going to go scout a bit. We're playing the latest early access version right now, which has the latest update to that was the diplomacy update, which added quite a number of nice features to diplomacy. If you haven't checked that out, please do. and we get a nice suggestion here. I don't quite care for that. I'm going to click that away. And okay, our troops are moving. We have a nice location for a second settlement here, so I'm going to push a bit that way to make sure we use the rhinos but still leave enough room to expand later on. When can we recruit more units? That's one of the vital things. You want to recruit units as soon as you can. So as soon as we get the population level back up to 10, we can recruit more nobles. So we're going to do that right now. So another farm completed at Chang, which is nice. We're going to move south further. And we have 10, so we can recruit some nobles now. So recruiting units also adds to your unrest level. So that's something you should be wary of. So if you are capturing a lot of cities, and in combination with recruiting a lot of nobles, that can really bring down your rush strategies, basically. Because your unrest might go so high that you risk a noble rebellion. So this is quite unfortunate. We have a group of bandits right in the way where we want to attack. So I'm going to gather my forces a bit first. There we go. And these guys are almost at the location for their second settlement, and these guys are almost at their location as well. So that's fine. I'm just going to hit end turn. And we got our first battle already, a bit sooner than I would have wanted, even though we're going for a rest strategy. We should be able to beat them. But I don't want to lose too many forces, and especially risking losing your leader so early on is not a good thing by definition. Luckily, we've chased them off without getting too many casualties. So we got a battle report right here. Let's see. So we were outnumbered, but of course we had the heavier troops. We had the noble guard, which did pretty well, as you might imagine. So having more population again means I can recruit a bit more troops. So there we go, another unit of light troops, and we're going to send them north as well. We're going to use the crossing right here to see if we can get to our neighbor. I don't really want to chase them off further. They're not a threat to my cities at all. Let's see, what's our authority rating? It's 1, so there we go. We have our first town, and having the rhino close by is very good, because especially early game, having that flat bonus of 60 gold per turn is really valuable. That is something you really want to focus on. All right, continuing on. Zhang should be continuing to actually use build farms. Other than that, we're not interested in getting too much of them at this point. I think we could build an archery range, but hopefully we're going to try and get our advantage before they manage to build up walls in their cities. That's what we're aiming for here. So it is somewhat of a gamble. I'll admit that, but especially when you guys will get into the multiplayer at full release, this will be very interesting strategies, and also help to shake up the early game quite a lot. So there we go. So we have 2 towns now. They are completely unguarded, which is also one of the results of my rushing tactics. I'm trusting the AI not to attack me at this point. Alright, so we're going to cross. This is also a very nice area for a settlement, so I really hope that my northern neighbor has a settlement close by, and there you have it. There is the first one. So we're going to seek them out. And our farms are complete. I am going to queue up one more farm here, not for the other 2 towns. I first want their population to grow. So I let the populace farm some extra food, so population growth will continue on quicker. So here we go. We're gonna hit and turn again. So there's quite an interesting question here by Sanvon. How much hunt penalty to combat effectiveness will play into your rushing? Is that a big deal? That is a very good question, and a couple of more specifics close to that. Let me just first boost the game sound quite a bit. Like can be easily done. There we go. So at the moment, I don't think the idea is I will mostly be praying like right here on unprotected cities. So the combat effectiveness penalty is not too much of an issue by itself. Having said that, if you're going into multiplayer, of course, it might be harder to predict what will happen. So in that case, it definitely is something to be wary of. Now, to the second part of your question, is that the same stat that the key effects, and does it apply to the chance to kill? So the combat effectiveness does not directly apply to the chance to kill. So the chance to kill, if I recall correctly, is done after the combat effectiveness check. So it does reduce the amount of times the check is fired, if I recall correctly. So yes, it does hurt it somewhat, but not overly so. It's not something that would make this particular nation a bad rush strategy, though. One of the reasons I chose them is because they start with a walled city and they start pretty close to an enemy that is relatively easy to predict what they will do. So they immediately try to take back the town and we fight them off. They have 2 units, we have 2 units, we have a strong leader in there, and we already have reinforcements coming up. So already in turn 8 we took our first city, and that is really vital. So you want to keep your neighbors, especially your potential direct competitor, very, very tiny, and ideally vassalize them as soon as you can when they have like 1 or 2 towns left. So one of the things you see already now is why I said that the authority rating is so important. I have 2 authority and already have 4 cities, so that won't be able to I won't be able to hold that up for long. Luckily though, in 2 turns we're gonna get the additional authority from the technologies. Now let's go to the Wellfield system. I think Wellfield is very good to help your early game economy as well. So Gladiator is asking a question related to sieges, and that is something that is not really normal, though. The thing is, archers are very important units in a siege, especially when there is a walled city, because you need them for that, basically, to breach the city. But they're not the units to assault the city with. So if you're going to try and assault the walls using your archers in melee, then you wouldn't be surprised if it takes you a lot of turns to actually break through. It's hard to really comment on the specifics of this question, but generally speaking, you want to have a very nice balance of forces when you attack. So let's queue up some more farms. So we still have turmoil in our new town, but that's okay. Are we going to chase them further, see if there's more actually we can take? More territory. So they're trying to attack once again. I'm not overly afraid of them. They have 1 unit, I have 2, so I should be able to hold them off. And there we go. Meanwhile, I'm going to try and scout for their other town. In the meantime, we unlocked a lot of technology, so our authority ratings are back up, which is a good thing because our unrest was increasing a fair bit. And here our population has grown to 3, so I can start producing farms again, which is nice. And I can recruit 2 more units of militia. So I'm going to recruit 1 to send north, and I'm going to keep 1 south. And I'm going to use that one basically to add some protection to my towns, but I'm going to send the other one north to help with the invasion. So here in Bo, we did lose 1 of our units, and the town is still in turmoil. So we definitely need some reinforcements there. Alright, having done that, let's see if we need to select some new technologies. A lot of them were finished. Though having said that, Gladiator, this is something that we're still actually actively working on the logic. Especially for sieges and for combat. So if you have good ideas or specific feedback or great save games that illustrate areas where it is currently lacking, we would love to see that on the forums, and we would love to see your feedback on those. That's very useful for us. I know there's a lot out there already. We are actively reading it and pursuing it, but the more we get, the better, basically. All right, having done that, let's continue. And they're trying again to attack, so it is getting a bit risky since we only have our leader in this particular town. If he dies, his retinue might die as well. But further to the north, it seems we found their capital, and one of the good things is even if we can't take the city outright, we can make a lot of money by plundering their farms, and in addition that will not only make us rich, but make them poor as well, since it will significantly hamper their population growth, keeping them much more tinier. And here we are. It took a bit longer than usually, but we have an heir, so we have an additional unit of heavy infantry, and that's quite significant as well. Ideally, I would have had it sooner, so I could send it up north as well. Now I'm going to probably keep it here, but I should be able. Can I recruit some more troops? And 2 turns for peasant militia and 5 turns for nobles. So this is just a potential approach to early game aggression and early game strategy, and it can give you an edge quite well, especially if you have a nice city with some rhinos close by that gives you that extra gold boost that you need. This is also a very nice town to capture because as soon as I get the farm here going, I can claim these rhinos as well. Which is it's not a particularly rushing tip or trick, but it is something to take note of, actually, is that so the resources your settlement makes use of are the resources that are inside your territory, so inside the circle right here, or directly behind it. So if you turn on the hex grid, you can see it. So if we would farm this particular hex, then this one will get claimed as well, and we get additional 60 income. So here we found their capital, which is a walled town already. So we shan't be taking it. We don't have archers for that, but we will be plundering it for all it's worth. They have a garrison, which is about as strong as our army, so I don't think they'll dare to venture out. Right, so tips and tricks on combat. To go into detail on that would be actually an entire stream of its own, which would be very interesting indeed. It is also something that we're actively looking into, constantly improving. Generally, the best setups are, yes, a group of combined forces, having your archers and the rear, or have them skirmish initially while your other units flank. Perhaps we can get into a bit more detailed combat in this particular save, but it will be a while before I progress far enough into the game, as you can see at the turn number, to get really how do you say, diverse armies going. Alright, so we're producing again, that's nice. So let's start plundering and hit end turn. So plundering, I get a fair bit of money per farm. They're actually venturing out to fight me, which is interesting, because I should be able to take them on one by one. So yes, generally speaking, you want to use your outflank commands if you have a strong front to start with. So they're asking for peace right now, and I don't mind peace because we made our gains already, at least for now. But I want something more out of it. Ideally, I'd like to vassalize them. We are a fair bit stronger, so let's see if we can pull that off. Of course, we will have to pay for them, but I have a fair bit of money. So one of the things that involves rushing is not spending money on building too many buildings. Let's see. So if we offer them, I don't know, 1,500, they probably won't go for it, but no, they won't. So we're just gonna get a bit more out of them. We got an additional unit incoming, and we should be able to recruit some more units, including nobles. So that's nice. So depending on the type of game, you might be lucky. You might get one settlement. You might get two if you're very fortunate. What I could definitely get out of these guys is recognize me as an emperor right now, but I would like a little bit more out of it. Alright, so you should probably head into a town to get some. And this could be a good time actually to start doing these encounters. There we go. We have a stack without orders. Another important tip for those who don't know it yet. So you got a full list of units right here, and the units who don't have any orders are always listed on the top. So that's something to take into account, so you can very quickly find the units that you want to find. Another thing I could be doing now is, you know, make peace with these guys and then move on to my right to attack the next guys. My interest, however, is in trying to do a bit more of plunder. Although they are sending in a lot of reinforcements and I seem to get chased off there. That's a shame. They rallied all their troops. So we need to get out of there. Do we want to pay 350? Yeah, sure, why not? Give me some extra line of sight. So that's interesting. We have another nice city opportunity here with the rhinos. Other than that, I think it's time to make peace with these guys. I'm not going to be able to loot anything more. My army is basically spent by now. And unfortunately, I didn't get the additional unit. We did get the extra town on turn 8, which is quite important because initially the only civilians you can recruit, the only colonies, come from your capital, and that will take several turns or a good number of turns before that replenishes. So when you're able to get another city earlier, it means you can start getting taxes of those people earlier, and combined with the fact that this is a Rhino town, which is how I like to define those towns, makes them very valuable. So if we make peace now, perhaps we can get a bit of extra money. They are weaker than I am. Their wealth is adequate. So let's see. Single payment. They're not really willing to pay anything, it appears, which is a shame. Let's see if they come with a counter offer. They're willing to pay one. Well, so be it. We made our gains, we made our victory, and we have a nice additional town while keeping them relatively small. So the thing we need to do now is replenish these guys. They have nice experience, which is good, but they're very low in strength. And we need to protect ourselves from the barbarians to our right. So this also highlights another trick, more or less, that you like to use quite a lot. This could also be a good time to start building a barrier for preparing for future conflict, is to not spend money on buildings initially. Really spend as much of your money on troops, and whatever you're left with, because you will be left with quite a lot because you're hampered by manpower shortages, is going to be useful in brokering deals for diplomacy or paying for encounters, that type of stuff. Especially some of the encounters can be really powerful for a longer term game where you get bonuses on getting certain technologies. And that is something that is very useful as well. At this point, however, that's not something we're interested in. But now that the fight is over, I want to recruit some more troops to start scouting a bit and see if there's another potentially weak target out there that we could abuse. There we go. This one's still crowing, that's fine. Let's hit the end turn button again. And we get another encounter opportunity. So this is one of those things that I was talking about, right? If you get the right encounter opportunity, you need some money to pay up front, but you get a large bonus over a longer term of time. So all the craft advancements from this point on will be increased by 14%. So that's really powerful, and that's why you always want to have some a bit of extra money. Another reason why you want to save up some money is because once your towns start growing, you want to give them walls. That will protect them so much more, and getting walls as soon as you can is quite important. So the sooner you build them, the better. There's no upkeep for them. They just cost 1 time 750, which is a lot of money, but it's definitely worthwhile. So that would be another tip I would like to give everyone. get your walls up. Alright, so there's something here to my right, to my northeast. So let's investigate. It has just been founded, so there's a very good chance it's unprotected and undefended, and I'm gonna see if I can make use of that. I do need to protect my farms here. There are 2 spearmen. We get a technology warning. So we need a new technology right here. So I'm going to go for the rammed earth wall, which is going to be needed to start building my road network. So probably after this town, my rushing stage is more or less over. I'm going to start developing my economy more and do that. I was fortunate that my former enemy is fighting some rebels in my area. I want to protect this particular farm because if it gets looted, of course, my population growth will suffer. So we're going to get closer to there. Our income is still good. We should be able to recruit some more troops. There we go. Some additional nobles are always welcome. And we should be farming more as well. So you can also automate farming. If you're keen on that, you can automate it completely. And that is something to consider if you don't want to focus on that. I like to do it manually. I like to have full control over that. But the choice is yours there. So Dr. Beekman here is saying that he likes to explore the entire map and for all the encounters, just for the encounter opportunities alone, because if you get the right tech bonuses, it's already worthwhile. And there's definitely truth in that. Okay, we're going to keep you there. That's okay. If you don't like the message, of course, about troops that don't have any order to them, you can ignore that, or you can dismiss it completely, make sure it never appears again. And sure enough, the rebels are approaching our farm and still manage to plunder it, which is not a good thing at all. Luckily, we have some reinforcements in the area, but they are fairly weak. Still, I'd like to get rid of them. They're a bit too experienced for my taste, and we can already see the population here is declining. And here we are out of luck. The town of Jibai already has a wall around it, so we're not going to be able to take that anytime soon. So that means that our rushing strategy ends here, leaving us with one town. Having said that, a very good one, a very nice location next to the river, and with the rhinos as a resource and a lot of fertile ground around it. So it was definitely worthwhile. For this case, though, not as good as it could have turned out with a bit more luck. But that will end basically our rushing and early game aggression. There's also no looting going on for this particular faction because they are herders. So one thing you could consider if you really want to continue your streak is go south. That's not something I want to be doing, though. I will recruit another peasant. There we go, and we're going to send him to the rhinos right here. And I probably want to recruit some more troops. So one of the important advantages of early games aggression, and that's something we're seeing right now as well, is that if you have a big army early on, you also have more influence when it comes to conducting diplomacy. So other factions, if they get scared of you, they're more inclined to follow your lead, essentially. So with the Jibai, or with the Dongyi, sorry, because I cannot take their town because it's walled, I just want to have a nice agreement with them. That's the other thing I want to press on you. Fraternal harmony agreements are very useful and very worthwhile. It will prevent them basically from taking your settlements. So if you have that bit of extra money to convince them to accept, well, they're not accepting right now, let's offer them a bit more, then that is something that will allow you to focus on the there we are, on the other factions. No, they don't really want it, so I'm not inclined to pay more, but that does mean I will need to recruit some more troops to oh, no, not you need to go there, to scare them off. Also, once we have our walls, I'm somewhat less scared, but I am gonna start recruiting garrisons in my different towns. All right. And east for Wu, yes. So we got Chu to our south, we got Wu to our east, somewhere over here. They're quite far away, but sometimes they have some nice settlements going. If you go there for early aggression, that's very, very interesting as well. And you get a very different type of game out of it. So even starting on a historical map with the same factions, you can get completely different games by going to a different location. So I almost forgot the encounter here. Right, they have nothing new for me, so we're going to go south. And that's pretty much it. So we need to select some new technologies to research. So we can't do the churn drill quite yet because we don't have the walls, which we're researching right now. But interesting is probably the ceramic roof tiles, because they will limit damage from natural disasters as well as sieges. And then I'm going to go for the shamanism, because that will lead to some other technologies which will increase our authority. There we go, and more fighting going on with the bandits. Hopefully we can get them to hide right now. And there's also more fighting going on right here. So it seems like the Dongyi have declared us war. We do manage to fight off their initial attack. So I'm not sure why they wanted war. Having said that, we do have a encounter a beautiful girl, gives us more personal authority. I'm not really in need of personal authority at this point. If I had captured more cities, I would have been more inclined to do so, but not right now. I am interested in why they made war on us though. So let's see if we can convince them to make peace after that initial beating. And in exchange, I want them. Let's give each other some information. Let's become proper friends here. Could we? Oh, that's okay. All right, they accept. So we were not a pushover, so they had to accept our truce. And that means they won't be able to raid for at least 20 turns, so that's good as well. Meanwhile, Browier is finished, so we can start recruiting some bowmen. And that will mean that soon we can actually start attacking some walled cities as well. So one thing I really like about that early aggression, and I said that before, is that if you can get that town early on and can make it grow. I'm not really successful at this particular point, but that will help you so much in your mid-game economy. So, and that might make up for, you know, the lack of mid-game development you have for going for these rush tactics. So, do we want culture? We're fighting quite a bit, so the hot cold theory is interesting. I'm not too keen on noble archers. I just want to continue with peasant archers, so I'm not going to research the composite bow. I just want to use archers to break through the wall and then send in nobles to rush in, basically. Another bonus for Han, says Dr. Beekman, is that their land is flat and fertile plains. You won't get mines unless you go west or south, but there are usually food bonuses, rhinos and mulberries. That's definitely true, and that's also why Han is a good starting faction to go for. There's plenty of room for expansion and fertile land. Well, of course, you won't get the farms, you won't get the gold. So we found some troop right here, and it seems like they just settled there, so I could send one troop to check it out. And hope they don't have a wall yet. Other than that, our population is growing, we're creating farms. We are going to a noted philosopher, and we're going to merge our stacks right there. So we're no longer at war with any faction. The rebels here have thinned out significantly, so we're just going to organize our troops, and hopefully they will get to heal pretty soon. So we also have some bomb breed right here. We're not quite making use of that yet, but we will in late game. And our colonist is moving out. Alright, things are going well. So are there different AI personalities, like focusing on different factions? So at the moment we don't really have these different AI personalities in. The AI is very dynamic in how they will develop and what they will do. There are some cultural biases, I think, programmed in there, but there is no real personality. There's no one AI going for this particular type of victory and another one for the other. It really is completely dependent on the situation they find themselves in. So we finished our wooden palisades, so I feel a lot securer right now. And we finished a number of farms, so we need to take care of those. Forget bow earlier, I think. And we have another encounter opportunity with a famous philosopher, and that will give us an additional technology, so that's very good. The national myth, we weren't even researching that, but we will need it later on, so that's very nice. And that saves us another couple of turns developing technology. I think there was like an 8-turn tag. I don't want to engage with bandits. That's also another very important tip, I think. Don't engage if you don't have to fight. Don't fight battles just for the sake of it. You might get some experience, but you lose more in manpower than you gain in experience, generally speaking. So only attack if you feel threatened by them. There we go. We're going to keep our army as big as we can at this point. Just so if we can sneakily take a town, take a settlement, the AI will immediately fear us and offer peace with us getting a free town, basically. That's where we're going for. And because we're not really building to develop our industry, we have a lot of money left to do just that. So that's the trade-off here. Right, we're going to continue on. We're going to scout more to the south, and we are moving to the Chu territory. And here we have a free town for us to take, so we're going to declare war and take it. There is a stack close by, but it consists of colonists, so we might actually be able to follow them. What I want to do is basically, I'm going to sound out these units though. What I want to do is just take the town and then offer them peace, saying, okay, listen, we've got this, and we will stop, but we want to consolidate our gains first. We continue for more encounters. There are plenty here. Yes, well, the herding factions play definitely, the AI as well, play differently from the civilized factions, for lack of a better word. Let's go for this one. But that is, well, it's partly due to character, it's also just due to their situations. Not having to worry about farms means that they don't have to worry about, you know, civil unrest as much as the others, so they can get away with recruiting a lot more. On top of that, their basic spearmen are stronger than that of the other factions, because they're tribesmen, not farmers. So they're very good for rushing as well. So here we go. So we took the town. The Chus know that we're very strong. We have a strong military behind it. So already they're offering to make peace. I'm going to decline for now. Should I accept? Let's accept for now and see if we can just be happy with our gains right here. There we go. We took another town, and we probably could have taken the town south of it if I hadn't accepted. So that's something where I probably made a wrong call. Increase personal authority by 2. No, I'm not quite interested in that. I thought we had established that already. Nonetheless, a nice sneaky cap on our end. So, and we found another town next to some rhinos, so we get more money coming in because our economy was not as strong as it could be. The good thing is we can move our troops back. The bad news is they've been hit by sickness. So we lost a good number of troops without having them actually fight. So what victory condition am I aiming for in this particular one? Well, that I wanted to, because this game, so unlike many other games, as you guys know, where you have to set a victory condition in advance, here you can just play and see which one you will get eventually. Because I was hoping or thinking that if I could rush someone and rush them into submission, then conquest victory, or at very least, becoming recognized as the empire, which we can see right here, the Son of Heaven victory is very possible to do. Cultural victory is not ideal for rushing strategy, simply because you won't be building as many cultural buildings as you otherwise would. So definitely the Son of Heaven or conquest victories are much more approachable to a rushing strategy. So if you want to do conquest, you just want to conquer as many as possible. Son of Heaven is very interesting if you want to have many vassals out there, since they automatically will recognize you as emperor. And here we go. So we have some troops here. I do want to fortify it a little bit, but I also want to send out some unit to start scouting and discover some more of the territory here. See a bit more of the lay of the land, if you will. Stuck without orders. Which one would that be? It'll be the town and the squad nearby. Yeah, so let's get them back into town. And we should start building a wall around Bo pretty soon, actually. Because it's not really safe, the town right now. The same goes for Yangshang, where there's an enemy close by. Because I have a peace treaty with them, I don't feel too threatened. If I hadn't, I would have sent some reinforcements there already, which I might do anyway, actually. So we are turn, what is it, 23, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 towns already. So I think that's a pretty good start. Not the best of starts I've had so far, but still quite solid. It's a good foundation to continue growing on. And additionally, one of the things that I have forgotten to do actually in this stream is to adopt the well field system, because I think I finished that technology already. So let's recruit some more archers. So let's head to this one, and that's another tip or trick that I would definitely want to give you guys, is the activate the well field system if you're a farming nation, that is, as soon as you can. Yes, you get some unrest, but the money gain is really worthwhile. So we're at plus 77 right now. If I issue the edict here, we get a plus 197, so that's definitely worthwhile, and we can use that money really well once we start building walls around these towns. And yes, let's start building the wall right here. All right, so what do you guys think? It looks like I'm in a pretty good position so far. I'm a bit over I'm a bit spread out, I must admit, but it doesn't look too bad as of yet. We have treaties with the races or factions to our north. With Chu, we have a peace treaty, so we are relatively safe, but we do need to get some more treaties going. So I'm feeling especially threatened by the Shang, so I want to see if I can get a more formal treaty, not to attack each other, or at least to have some nice harmony between us, and I'm willing to pay for that. So that will secure our northern borders. Let's see, so these towns are growing, that's all going fine. At some point as well, we would need to start building up a road network. That would be very interesting, and then get some pottery going. That would all make some money. Though I don't have really, I would have, ideally you have some mulberry already closer to your town, so you can use that as your main trading hub. I don't have that in this particular situation. Alright, let's hit and turn again. Manage your money, yes, thank you. So if you're new to the games, it's really advised that you take a look at these hints. Let's see, yes. Well, we don't really need to build any mines. I must admit, Sanvon, I'm not 100% sure if they offer a huge bonus on flat terrain as well. I think they should offer a minor bonus at least, but I mostly use roads for trade networks, I must admit. These guys are still pretty weak. Interesting. So we have a nice large stack right here with plenty of archers that we want to keep growing. There we go. Our economy can support it now with 6 towns and with the wealth field system enabled. So now having coming into turn 25, which can be defined more or less the start of mid-game, depending on your type of game, somewhere between 25 and 50 turns, you get your mid-game will kick in essentially. Actually, let's get that so we can use the fish. And we already have an army of archers ready, so even wall towns in our next attack, if we get local superiority, we should be able to take. So a continued attack on Chu to the south is very reasonable. I wouldn't definitely necessarily want their town, but I wouldn't want to destroy it, so I can use their wild game right here, and so my town of Chen has more room to grow. That's also something I like to do quite often, is to just destroy towns that are in the way of growing your own nice, let's make you sleep, your own nice empire. So capture a town and then raise it also means you don't have to defend it afterwards, and it significantly weakens your enemy. Just to put things into perspective, it costs 500 to recruit a unit of colonists. So it costs 500 to build a new town essentially. So if you raid it soon enough, then that is really can really be worthwhile. I'm going to continue to head south right there. And especially like to my direct south, if they take resources that you could make use of yourself, if you were in the right proximity. So these guys would be a very nice target actually for a continued assault. Taking this town is very nicely located between my towns, and it is lightly defended, as it appears. So I could start sending my units there. I mean, they are still replenishing a bit, so I don't want to send them off too early, but I think that might be a good candidate. Break through the walls and then assault with heavy infantry. That's basically what we would be going for. We have 2 spare heavy infantry right here, so having 3 or 4 of them in combination with archers, we should have a pretty decent siege unit. Right, I'm gonna hit end turn for now again. There's some fighting going on between our rivals. That's okay. We don't mind them killing each other as long as one of them isn't really winning, which doesn't appear to be the case, so that's a good thing. I wouldn't want Dongyi, for example, to become too strong and take the towns of Shang right here. If that happens, I would definitely need to speed up my attack of the Dongyi. You don't want one of the AI factions to become too strong. It is a strategy game in every sense of the word. You want to manage your diplomacy is extremely important, is what I'm trying to say here. If you can keep a balance of power between your enemies while you grow stronger, then that's the easiest way to victory. So they just established peace, which is not great, but not terrible either. It seems like it fought quite a bit. I don't see any big stacks in the area. We have some new techs unlocked, so we can continue our trees to get to the walls right here. And we need some more medicine, because we do a lot of fighting. That's going to be very useful. Yes, please, if that would be great if you could do a test yourself and reporting your findings on the forums. And let us know if you think it's worthwhile to build them for that particular reason. We have another way of moving troops around quickly via rivers, and lately, for example, we've been reading on the forums that not many people seem to be using that, so we might need to give that a little buff. That's all very useful feedback to us. So the more we get, the better. Exactly, bloody child. There we go. More farms coming up. And always keep on farming, guys. I think I've said that in every stream I've been doing of this game, but it increases your population size and thus your income, and it is extremely important. So we're gonna march north. We're not gonna declare war yet. Apparently they have a nice little stack there behind the fog of war. That's okay. I just want to make sure that this guy is being checked as well if I go to war with them. Oh, that sounds great, Sanvan. It would be great to see some more community guides popping up and to help all people out. That's really cool. To those of you who aren't aware yet, another important trick or tip is to hit the info button right here if you're unsure about stuff. If you're just starting out, there is a lot of information here about pretty much all aspects of the game, be it diplomacy, the type of negotiations, etc. It is very worthwhile to have a quick read through. All right, let's continue on. We have some more bandits right here, and these could be tricky because they're fairly close to a relatively weakly protected town. So there's something to keep an eye out. And I think we found a nice little town of Hoop right here. Hopefully it's still unwalled. Yes, definitely, Sanvan. Getting your turn 1 strategy, reading it. That's also why we advise new players to play the Grand Campaign first. Yes, let's reveal our capital locations. You get this nice little information text from the advisor. Reading it gives you a great idea of your starting position and what you could or should be doing. So here the rebels are indeed marching into our territory, which is not something we like, of course, but we can't recruit any more units yet, so we need to send out our garrison to deal with that. I did a really good deal with that. Yes, I clicked it away within like 2 seconds of the game, which is makes it extra useful and worthwhile that you're mentioning it right now. So yeah, thanks for that. So we are going to take another city again, roaming about, trying to get these new towns out, and while they are unprotected is what this stream was all about. We filmed on 2 occasions. For the city of Yin and Jibai because they were walled already, but we succeeded for Bo and Chen, and hopefully for Hu as well, which would make a great ending for this particular stream until we go on to a new one where we unveil or we go over more tips and tricks to start playing. We expect a lot of these things to come back and have a major impact once we get multiplayer going. We're quite sorry with the delay for that in particular. We are really working on it. We're having a lot of fun testing it as well, so it is coming together pretty soon. So there we've taken the town of Hu. Chu want a Fraternal Harmony pack. Yes, we want that as well. They're not going to be our next targets, we decided. And Hu already want to make peace, and we're fine with that as well. So again, they didn't call our bluff, basically. We're not at all interested in continued fighting. And we have a nice extra resource as well. So I think that'd be a great ending to our stream. We might continue next time when we see if we can take on Jibai, though it seems to be a lot better protected than it was a couple of turns ago. And hopefully you will be with us again next time. So I'd like to thank you all for watching. And just Sanvon is just coming up with the latest bit of information. So roads and flat terrain give a +2 movement or +50% increase. So that's something that is quite interesting. Yes, I'm gonna have a beer, of course, like every evening. And thank you, bloody child. And hopefully we'll see you again next time. In the meantime, if you have any questions about the game, or if you're more interested about the game, hit the banner of the game right below here. Will take you to the Steam product page, from which you can access the forums and ask your questions there. Or of course you can purchase the game in early access right now and play for yourself and let us know what you think. Many thanks to all of you for joining me tonight. We hope to see you again next time. Until then, this was Bart for Iceberg Interactive. Goodbye.